Hello guys, my name is John. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you can, please subscribe to my channel, like the videos and share with family and friends. Today guys, I'm going to be visiting a place called Gunwharf Quays. This is a place in Portsmouth. It's a seaside area and I hear that there is a Navy base there. So I'm looking forward to seeing some battleships. I also hear that there is a nice beach, so I'm also going to be looking forward to exploring that area. If you guys remember well, one of the greatest footballers to come out of Zimbabwe, Benjani Mwaruwaru, once played for a club in that city. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that place, and you guys are coming with me. And guys, on this channel, I get to share with you my life in the diaspora. I've been living in the UK for a couple of years. So on this channel, I get to share with you my life here in the diaspora, the highs and the lows of living in the diaspora. So come with me, guys, as we explore this lovely place. But before we go to Gunwharf Quays, guys, I would want to share with you a story about my first job in the UK. It was a perfume manufacturing factory. It was walking distance from my house, so no problems getting there. I still remember that work started at 6 and ended at 6. So it was a 12-hour shift with a break in between. What I remember about that place is that I had to work on an assembly line, and there were various sections. At some section you had to clean the bottle, at some section you had to put a lid, at some section you had to take the bottle away from the assembly line into a packaging box. And guys, I had never worked in a factory before. The closest I got to a factory was when I was working at a bank in Zimbabwe, and I used to visit my customers, some of whom owned factories. So that's when you would go in there as a visitor, wear the helmet, the overcoat, and just move along, seeing the people as they did their work. But this was me actually working on an assembly line. So it was a first for me. What I remember very well was this, the supervisor who welcomed us was very nice. He asked if any one of us had worked in a factory. A couple of guys said yes. I said no. And he said, no, we are going to give you an induction. And I said, fair and fine. So he told us what we were supposed to do. And before long, we're already on the assembly line. And he told us that this was going to be our supervisor, sort of pointing to a lady who was going to be our supervisor for the day. Guys, what I remember on that day is the lady coming and sort of saying to me that, John, you are very slow for the assembly line. And the way this thing works, it's like a conveyor belt. So when this person next to you has done their part, then the bottle comes to you. So there were times when I would lapse in concentration, or there were times when I would be a bit slow, and then the bottles would come crashing at the end of the assembly line. And of course, because the production managers had targets and what have you, she would come and actually show that she was not very happy. So it sort of became a day where I made a lot of mistakes, to the extent that whenever the assembly line would stop, because if you fail to do your thing in time, it would sort of ring some alarms and stop. And then they had to sort the problem, then restart the assembly line again. So it sort of became a day where she knew that if the assembly line is stopped, it was John. And you can imagine, guys, and you are the only one sort of causing problems there. I now laugh, but it was a very difficult day. I remember some of my colleagues trying to encourage me, trying to say, no, you need to use both left and right hand. I'm right-handed, but they said you need to use left and right both, because if you just use one hand, you are going to be slow for the assembly line. So it was a very difficult day, guys, and I still remember in the coming shifts that there were times when I would make those mistakes again, but it was now getting better and better. But still, I was making mistakes a lot, to the extent that I kept saying, am I good enough? And I began to doubt myself. And there were times when I would leave my shift and I would say, what am I doing here? Am I not better being back in Zimbabwe? I think it is part of the process of settling in the diaspora, where sometimes you regret coming to the diaspora. So, guys, feel free to share your experiences in the comments, because I'm sharing mine with you guys. And yeah, it was a difficult time. It was a difficult time, guys. And to make it worse, the factory had a few people of color. So you find that sort of coming from a country where you are the majority and now you are in the minority, it was not easy. It's not easy being different, guys. I don't know how you do it, guys, but it's not easy being different. But as time goes on, you get used to it. And in the shifts that followed, guys, I would be happy if I said it became easier. But yeah, it was very tough. It was very tough. And guys, despite the challenges in that first job, I kept coming back. Um, I kept coming back because I said I need to take care of my family. I also need to support my wife. In the diaspora, sometimes it's very difficult to survive on one salary because the rents and the bills are just high. So there were days when I would walk to the factory and I would say, I wish I was not doing this anymore. But the moment I realized that I needed that money, I would quickly say, I'm going to survive. And I still remember one of my coping mechanisms was I like soccer and I get to learn a lot when I watch football matches. Teams sort of recovering from 3-0 down to win a match 4-3. Uh, Teams sort of doing heroic acts and winning trophies in a difficult match. So I began to look at my shift as a football match. I would say these are 90 minutes. Those 12 hours, it's 90 minutes. I just need to survive until the last whistle. And yeah, guys, I would keep coming back and working there. There were some supervisors that were nice. I still remember this supervisor who said to me, I can see you are a bit slow on the assembly line. Can I give you some other work to do? Then I said, yes, of course. And he said, you can go and clean the factory. So the whole day I was sort of cleaning the factory. When there's a spillage, I would go there and clean. I was very efficient, actually. And my colleagues liked that. They began to say, oh, this is good, John. So I said, I'm good at certain things, but I'm not very good at other things. But unfortunately, we were there to work on the assembly line. So each time I went back to the assembly line, it was a bit difficult for me. I still remember this day. I laugh when I think about that day. So because this supervisor was sort of used that whenever the assembly line stopped, it was John. So I still remember this day, there was this guy, he used to do a good job, but I don't know that day, maybe he was going through stuff because mental health is real, guys. So that day he was very slow and I was working next to him and the other guys began to complain who were further down the assembly line. So when we were working, he did a mistake and the assembly line stopped. And the supervisor came straight at me. And he said, John, what are you doing? The assembly line has stopped because of you. And I still remember I was shocked because I knew it was not me. But she was used that when the assembly line stops, it's John's fault. I still remember this lady who was a bit further down the assembly line saying to the supervisor, no, it's not John. It's actually this other guy next to him. She did not apologize. She just turned and told the guy to sort of be faster and clear the mess. So it was very, very difficult, guys. But I survived. I went through, kept coming for shifts and earning some money. during those shifts, because my view was I need this job and I'm here now, even if I can keep thinking about the job that I did back in Zimbabwe, but I'm now here. So I need to adapt and continue. I still remember when I would come back home and my wife would say, "How was your shift?" Sometimes I was tempted to say it was fine, but later on I would say, "Oh, it was difficult, my love, very difficult." And she would just encourage me and say, maybe you need to look for something else, or what else can we do to make it better for you? But unfortunately, she could not do much to help me, because I had to show up every morning and go and work. And guys, the more you stay in an environment, the more you get used to that environment, the more you sort of adapt and begin to see opportunities in that environment. So the more I stayed in that factory, the more I got used to the different accents, different English accents. And after a couple of weeks, a couple of months, I began sort of to hear some people who would speak fast in the initial days and I would not hear a thing. I began to sort of hear. And I also began to be a bit more comfortable. But with the assembly line, I would think I improved, but I never got to be the best. I always had those lapses, and the assembly line would stop. But I think by and large, they began to tolerate me. I still remember a day when we showed up to the factory and they said, "Your shift has been cancelled." And it was a huge disappointment, because I knew I had to do a certain number of shifts to make sure I earn enough money to contribute to my family's upkeep. But before we could go, they then said, "But there is a place where we need someone to scrub and clean." I still remember we were two with another guy who had showed up for the shift. And they said, would you guys want to do the cleaning today? And this other guy said, "No, I did not come to do cleaning." And he said he's going back. I said, "Yeah, you can give me the cleaning job." And that whole day again, I was cleaning the factory, the hard stuff, toilets, the hard stuff where, chemicals have stuck to the walls. I was cleaning all that. And I was pretty happy with the job that I did that day. So why am I sharing these stories, guys? You might be settling in the diaspora now, or you might have a relative in the diaspora who has just come. Please be kind and be considerate. It can be hard. It can be hard. For 12 hours, I would be mostly standing on the assembly line, and you would know when I get home, I'm so tired. I don't want even my phone near me. So you find that sometimes you are calling your loved one in the diaspora and they are not picking their phone, or they are not responding to messages. Please bear with them. Sometimes it can be tough. There were days when I would come back from my shift at around 7 or thereabout, and I knew I had to be back again at 6. And sometimes it would be 3 or 4 shifts following each other. So I knew that I needed a good night's sleep. So I'll just come, focus on my family, take a deep sleep in the morning, wake up again, and go to the factory. So, guys, my encouragement is let's be each other's keeper. Just be considerate. Just be considerate. And if you are settling in the diaspora, I'm going to be sharing a story about my next job. But what I would say is, guys, just remember why you are here. For me, that has carried me through some of the most challenging times in my life. I would say settling in the diaspora was one of the most challenging times in my life. But whenever I thought and said, "Why am I here?" It sort of gave me new strength. It sort of made me persevere more. And coming back to my family, my kids, sort of saying, "Welcome back." I felt that whatever disrespect I have received in the factory, I'm coming back to people that love me. I'm coming back to people that see value in me. But you guys, enough of the serious stuff. But yeah, we get to laugh about some of those experiences. Anyway, I'm going to be preparing now so that I get out and go to Gunwharf Quays, and you guys are coming with me. A good day for traveling, guys. As you can see, clear blue sky, sun is out. But you know what? The temperature is actually -1 degree, guys. The UK sun can be very deceiving. You might think that is very hot, but when you step outside, it will be very cold. So one thing that I have noticed about the UK is whatever you want to do, just wear appropriate clothing suited for that weather and go out and do whatever you want to do. It was very chilly, guys. This is one thing that we need to be proud of about our lovely Zimbabwe, because when the sun is out like this, it will be very hot. The other thing that you will notice, guys, is in the UK, space is very expensive. Like you have just seen multiple houses built one next to the other, joined together, because there is just not enough space. And most of the houses are built going upwards, showing that space is a premium. But when you talk about space in the UK, you have to put it into context, because look at those houses, guys. Very big yards, very big spaces there. And what more? A good view into the sea. The last time I checked, one of these houses was selling for about £2 million. And not everyone can afford that. But anyway, guys, that's me on my way to the bus stop, going to catch a bus to Gunwharf. The buses here usually move according to schedule and they are always on time. That sign is telling me that it will take about 8 minutes before the bus arrives. So it means you can organize your journey maybe to the minute. Actually, you can actually do that. But it's not a perfect world, guys. Sometimes there are delays, but usually they run on time. Waiting is not easy, guys, but in life sometimes you just have to wait for the good things to come. And just like that, it was time for the bus to arrive. At some point it became very cold and I had to put on my woolen hat. That's Portsmouth Harbour, guys, and from that station or from this area you can pretty much connect to the rest of the UK either by bus or by train. And because I was in a naval area, that there is an old battleship that has been restored. A lot of history, guys, just showing us that war has been there for a very long time. We aspire for peace, but yeah, sometimes you get war. Some very beautiful boats on the harbour, guys. Very nice. I would want to own one of these someday. I know it's a big dream, but it's very possible. Lovely, lovely. Just to own a private boat, imagine. And that there, guys, is the Spinnaker Tower, a major landmark in Portsmouth, pointing upwards, maybe telling us that the people of this area aspire to achieve great things. I believe life is about having dreams, guys, and working towards those dreams. And look at those lovely flats, guys, overlooking the sea. Very beautiful. I am told that this big boat coming into port is a means of transport between Portsmouth and a nearby island called the Isle of Wight. That big boat, guys, can take even cars, and trucks can even drive into it. It's just a marvel to watch. It's such a big boat. And when you think of it, that people can build such a big thing and make it float on water, you just cannot help but just marvel and say, God, indeed, you are great. As the big boat is coming in, guys, I just noticed that its name is Saint Faith. In life, guys, you just have to have faith in a higher being, a higher power, or a supreme power than you. You just have to have faith in a higher power. Indeed, God is great. And after just a few minutes, guys, the big boat Saint Faith is off again, heading towards the Isle of Wight. Some people have ended their journey, but for some people, they are now on the boat, experiencing a new journey. We are on different journeys, guys, in life. The most important thing is make the most of your journey, and much more important, enjoy the journey of life. I don't know if you guys can see the small boats far in the distance. It's sort of leading a warship that is leaving the naval base, going out into the sea. There are actually two small boats, and someone has just told me that they are guarding the warship as it goes out into the sea. Very lucky to see a warship on a day like this. That's a very big cruise ship coming from France. Very impressive. A cruise journey is actually on my bucket list, and one day I'm going to do it. When a loved one passes on or dies in the UK, some families donate something to the community in remembrance of their loved one who has departed. And in this case, guys, these families donated some benches on the seashore to remember their loved ones. I think this is a good tradition, guys. And some of these people who are remembered here actually loved the sea. So this is a good way of empowering the community, donating something to the community, and leaving a permanent legacy for your loved one. This is a very good tradition. I am at my happiest when I'm out and about experiencing nature. Guys, nothing says God is great more than nature. Look at that water, guys, and look at those waves coming out of the ocean, the sound. Guys, you can even meditate in these environments. Such peace, such joy. I'm so happy when I go out and about, guys, seeing nice buildings, interacting with different people, experiencing nature. This is just nice, guys. And look at that water as far as the eye can see, as if there is no beginning and end. It's just wonderful, guys. Nature is just marvelous. I like this. And to imagine, guys, that night and day these waves are always coming out onto the beach. Night and day, whether someone is seeing or no one is seeing, the consistency, guys, this is what you need in life. Consistency in the right direction, guys, always leads to success. I was so happy, guys, to find this statue, which was set up to celebrate or remember Europeans who left their native land, crossed over to America to make a new home there, to settle in America, sort of build America. Guys, this made me happy. Just shows that migration has been there since time immemorial. Look at that, guys. That's like a whole family and their bags courageously leaving Europe and going to set up a new home or create a new home in America. Guys, I can relate to their experience. The joys of leaving your country to settle in a new country. but also the excitement and the pressure of setting up that home. Guys, I can testify, I can relate to their experience. Settling in a new place, in a new country, is not easy. But guys, it's also exciting as well. It feels good to sit and be part of their experience and just to celebrate them. Such bravery. And as the day comes to an end, guys, another big red private boat. I like this, guys, and I know you do. Guys, remember to like and subscribe to my videos. See you in the next video. Bye.